So here's something we haven't seen in a while, that old Tangerine iBook G3 that was very generously donated to the channel by Victor. Last year we did a couple videos on this thing. The most recent one was upgrading the internal hard drive to an SSD, which basically makes this thing entirely silent because there's no fan in it whatsoever. So I thought today we'd pull it back out to do some software upgrades to it by installing Mac OS X Jaguar. Sponsored by Squarespace. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So I was looking at my software shelf the other day and thought to myself, you know, I should really make videos on all that other boxed software that I got from Free Geek Twin Cities a while back. We already took a look at Windows 1.0 in this video, but today we're going to install what is currently the latest boxed copy of Mac OS X that I have in my collection, though it is not the latest version of OS X that can run on this iBook. That is Mac OS 10.3 Panther, but I figured this machine would make a great candidate to check out Jaguar on. However, we do have to do another hardware upgrade to this machine before we can install Jaguar, and that is the RAM. You can see here this OS requires 128 megabytes of RAM. This computer currently has 64 megabytes in it, and I thought maybe we could try to just install the OS anyway and see if it lets us get through the installation wizard, but just to play it safe for once, I am going to pop in another RAM module to this computer. We'll do that in a moment here, but first, let's go ahead and set it aside to unbox and see what you would have received if you purchased Mac OS X Jaguar back in the day. And if you wanted to pick this up back in 2002, it would have cost you $129. But you see, this right here is the family pack for up to 5 computers, which might make it sound like this would be 5 times the price, but that's actually not the case. This only cost $199, so this is a bit of a special deal that Apple had for multi-Mac households. And Apple certainly made sure to brag that this new version of the operating system had over 150 new features, including the introduction of iChat, and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, there's a whole list if you want to read through everything that they introduced, but let's go ahead and cut right to the chase and open this thing up, or at least open the flap of it here. There it is, iChat, the best way to IM, along with a bunch of other applications that are included with a little blurb about them. We've got a breakdown of the user interface here, and well, the box is, you know, pretty much a box. So let's just go ahead and open this up, and we'll see what you would have received. And we'll go ahead and open up this interior box thing here and let's just take everything out. So yeah, there is this packing slip in here, which I thought at first was for, you know, this copy of Mac OS X, but it's actually not. I'm just going to take it off camera here so I don't have to censor the address or anything. Well, hang on a second. Actually, it is, despite the fact that under description it says Max OS. I just noticed that too. Version 10.1 retail family pack, and Jaguar is again version 10.2. So I read that and thought, oh, this is for an older version. But if you look at the part number there, M8905LL-A, that is the part number that matches up on the bottom of the box here, M8905LL-A. So this is just Apple misprinting the name of their own operating system, including the word Mac, because they put Max OS, which is rather funny. And this did ship from Apple back on August 26, 2002, which was the other kind of thing that made me question this, because this is 2 days after Jaguar came out. And yeah, so we're just going to set that aside. That's a rather interesting misprint, but it's not too unbelievable. I'm guessing Apple just never updated that for maybe the first few packages that were sent out or something. But anyways, we've got 2 installed disks here. We also have the Mac OS X Developer Tools disk. We have our Welcome to Mac OS X instruction booklet thing, which is going to tell you, you know, how to set it up and, you know, I'm sure some of the features, yeah, what's new. So it talks about iChat, of course, and some things that were improved in Mail and contacts and all that glorious stuff. So we'll set that aside. You've got your software proof of purchase coupons. Do not discard. It looks like somebody followed that, which is great. And right here we have, what is this? Oh, we have an addendum to the software license agreement, and this just revises it to say that you can use 1 copy of the Apple software on up to a maximum of 5 Apple labeled computers. Of course, there was nothing stopping you from just installing this on as many computers as you wanted or on a non-Apple system, but technically you were only supposed to install it on up to 5. So yeah, you got your Apple Care stuff. and you have your single-use license, which I'm guessing, yeah, this is just the same license agreement that was included in every copy, and they just put this addendum into the family packs to say, like, hey, you can actually use this on up to 5, but the software itself is no different. So, yeah, that is everything. Let's go ahead and switch over to the iBook G3 Clamshell, install the RAM, and then we'll get this operating system installed. Okay, so fortunately for us, upgrading the RAM in one of these things is far easier than upgrading the hard drive, because if you guys saw that video that I made on upgrading the hard drive in here to an SSD, oh my gosh, this is like the most convoluted and strangely designed ways of getting access to the hard drive that I've like ever seen. Somebody left a comment that was really funny. It said something like, doing this on one of these old Apple iBooks changes you as a person because of how just unnecessarily complex it is. But yeah, so the RAM, we just got to remove the battery. We open up the lid here. Take the keyboard off, which is still so shocking, you know, just that Apple allowed you to get access to the airport card and everything just by undoing the keyboard like that. And then we're going to grab a screwdriver here to remove the RAM cover. If we had an airport card, it would be right in this area. That's where it mounts. And we should just be able to pull this back. This whole thing comes out. Okay, that's interesting. I kind of forgot there was no RAM module installed in here at all. The way that the RAM worked on these old iBooks, from what I can tell, is that the factory RAM would actually be soldered on the board. So you could choose between either 32 or 64 megabytes of RAM. I thought that 32 megabytes was soldered all the time, and they would just put another 32 megabyte stick in here. So if we had another 64 megabyte stick, we could just put one of those in there and get this up to 128 exactly. But the only sticks that I have are 128 megabytes. So we're just going to pop one of these in here. And there we go. We'll pop that down. And now we can screw, or rather put this cover back on. And pop the keyboard back on. And ladies and gentlemen, if I can get the keyboard back on, that is a successful RAM upgrade on an iBook G3 Clamshell. So let's power it on, boot into OS 9, and make sure it recognizes the RAM module properly. And there we go, that brought it up to 192 megabytes of RAM, so we're good to go. Alright, so we've got disk 1 put into the CD drive, and we're just going to run the installer right here from Mac OS 9, and it looks like we just hit restart to begin the installation process. Alright, sounds good to me. Now, it's been a while since I installed an early version of Mac OS X, I think actually, and the disk just ejected. Why did it just eject? Well, that's certainly odd. I've not had that happen before. Why don't we read the before you install though? Do we even have anything that can read a PDF file on here? Yeah, we don't. That's lovely. It should just be able to boot. I mean, we could try, okay, what's startup disk here? Yeah, Mac OS X install disk 1. And okay, we'll select that startup or system folder and restart. Let's try it that way. It shouldn't eject the disk, like what the... Oh no, there, it's ejecting again. Why is it ejecting? What the heck? Okay, that's certainly odd. Why don't we try to shut it down, and I'll hold the option key upon boot up, but I don't think that's, it just is ejecting. I mean, we set it as the system folder to boot from, and it still just ejected the disk anyway. I wonder if, because you remember I had to swap out the disk drive in this thing? I'm wondering if maybe the disk drive we ended up putting in here is bad in some way, but yeah, there it is. Mac OS X install disk 1. Like, there can't be a problem with the disk drive, right? I mean, we'll hit the arrow. Oh, there we go. Okay, well... Okay, I'm not even going to try and figure that one out, but we got it to boot. That's good. Yeah, I thought this was going to start turning into a but everything went wrong video. I'm hoping not, but we have to have some weird issue in like every single one of these videos, it seems. I mean, I'm trying to think of what could have caused that. The only thing is, like, was like the mouse button wasn't pushed down, because that would trigger a disk eject on boot up if you hold down the mouse button. But, you know, I wasn't holding down the mouse button, so I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, we got it to boot from the disk. That's all that matters. But that was, I certainly have not experienced that before. And we'll just install it on Macintosh HD. And let's customize here. I do want to see what what we're gonna get. Okay, we could get fonts for additional languages. Don't really need that. The printer drivers, I mean, I guess, why not? We've got, like, what, 60 gigs of hard drive space on here. Additional applications, we got everything, localized files. I guess we can just leave it the way it is. So we'll install, and that should do it. Alright, so the basic installation has finished, and it looks like we need disk number 2 now, so I'm gonna quickly pop that in. And we're off again. Alright, after a little more waiting, that was about an hour or so in total for the installation, we are here at the welcome screen, or the, beginning of the out-of-box experience of sorts. So, we're going to just go through and choose our location, keyboard layout, and I think we can just hit, can you do Command Q in here too to get past registration? Yes, we want to do skip to just go to create our user account, so we'll name this Michael, if I can spell my own name right. Password MJD, of course, super secure password. And then we got to pick a user picture. Let's go with, I think I usually did the 8-ball, so we'll do that. And time zone, we are in New York City. And look at that, the clock battery in this thing is probably dead because it has the date set to April 1976. Let's jump to January and let's go, can we just manually enter? I guess we can't, we have to hit the arrow. Okay, so we're gonna go a ways up here through the 90s, through the early 2000s, through the 2010s, all the way up to 2024, and today is the 31st. And here we go. Come to think of it, I don't believe I've ever used Mac OS X Jaguar. The earliest version that I used, with the exception of the public beta, is 10.3 Panther. So this now beats that record, I guess. And yeah, we're going to immediately eject the install disk 2 because we don't need that anymore. And there you have it. That's a successful install from the original installation media. But we're not done yet because I kind of want to use the system a little bit here. Maybe go into system preferences and modify a few things. Let's see what desktop wallpapers we got in here. Of course, we have that aqua blue one. We've got the gray variant of it, or the graphite variant, excuse me. I think, let's go to nature. I kind of just want to find a cool looking wallpaper to put on here. Of course, oh yeah, we definitely have to go with the Jaguar print. That is really going to fit our aesthetic here, especially with the orange on the iBook, or the tangerine, I should say. It actually goes rather well. And it looks like I just got rid of a shortcut from the top bar of system preferences here. But yeah, up here you could just pin your most frequently used system preferences settings and, get easy access to them. Let's see. I'll leave the appearance on blue, highlight color. Let's make that a green. Or actually, let's do that maybe orange to fit with the orange on the iBook. I definitely want to change the dock settings to make it pop a little bit more because I always like the dock magnification to be on. We want the size to be a little bit smaller and the magnification to be not so large. I think that's pretty reasonable there. Maybe a tiny bit smaller, like put that slider in the middle there. There we go. Screen effects. What is this? I forget. Oh, these are like screensavers. Okay. I didn't realize that OS X called them screen effects at this time, but yeah, that's what they were. I assume if you go to configure here, you could, or this is probably just going to configure, like, yeah, individual options for that screen effect. But yeah, here's activation where you can, change how long you want it to wait until it starts. Hot corners, that's right, Mac OS X had that ability. I really wish there were more options in the appearance setting here under general, because I would love to make the Apple logo and everything orange and the highlight color orange. But we just got blue and graphite. And I think I'll keep it at graphite. I don't mind how that looks. It looks a little bit bland, but I think it looks okay. So yeah, here's the About This Mac window if you were curious. Of course, 192 megabytes of RAM. I haven't said what processor this thing has. It has a 300 megahertz PowerPC G3. Okay, so I figured for the rest of this video, we could try to do something that I've been trying to find an excuse to do for a while, and that is, let's install Halo on this thing. So I've had this old copy of Halo Combat Evolved for Mac for literally like probably around a decade now. I don't even remember where I got it, but I've had it. I've never been able to use it. And this is certainly not like the most optimal configuration, I'm sure. Actually, I'm looking at the system requirements, and this is probably not going to work. We need to have a G4 800 megahertz or higher. Mac OS 10.2.8, we are running 10.2. We could upgrade that though, theoretically. And 256 megabytes of RAM, we're definitely not there. We do have plenty of hard drive space though, so, I mean, we meet one of the requirements. Isn't that good enough? No, certainly not, but we're gonna try it anyway, and probably fail epically, but you know, it wouldn't be an MJD video without us doing something stupid. So, let's see if the installer even runs here, though I am curious. Let's try to open up the extras folder here. What else do we got in here? Okay, we got some graphics drivers. We've got the EULA, of course. Okay, let's run the installer. Okay, continue. Halo for Mac OS X, November 2003. Yeah, that's right. Even though Halo came out on the Xbox in 2001, it would take a couple years for Microsoft to port it to Windows and Mac. This looks like a really ancient installer for an OS X application. Okay, install Halo, installs all files required to play Halo for Mac OS X. Alright, install. And sure, we'll install to... I assume it's just going to be a .app file, I would imagine. We don't have to make a folder inside of applications, do we? If it does, that is going to be rather obnoxious. If it has like a million files that it just puts into the applications folder. And you know, I have a feeling that's what it's going to do because I see it's copying. You know what? I should not have done that. Oh, okay, no, it's made a folder. Okay, thankfully... Thankfully, it just decided to do that on its own. That is nice. Thank you, Halo installer. Alright, it's finished. So let's get out of the installer and let's go into that folder it made in the applications folder. Thankfully, it did not just dump everything into here. And let's just try to run it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to be quite surprised if this even works. There it is. Halo requires a PowerPC processor running at 698 megahertz or faster, which is notably less than the 800. I assume that was a recommended requirement, perhaps. Oh, wait a second. To bypass the check, hold down the P key when you start Halo. Okay, why don't we try that? Halo requires Mac OS version 10.2.8 or later. Okay, luckily, we can easily upgrade to that because we are running 10.2. So let me go ahead and find 10.2.8 and we'll get that installed. Alright, 10.2.8 acquired. Let's pop it in. Well, that doesn't sound good. Well, I put the Halo disk back in, and now it's just, like, spinning infinitely. So, I wonder if this drive is bad, which it worked. I mean, you know, back when I installed the SSD in here, I had to replace the disk drive, and yeah, I got, like, 4 of them. They all worked. I just put one of them in here, and it's been working fine, but, you know, I wonder if maybe, it is failing slowly, and maybe that's why we had that issue with the installed disk earlier in the video. But I'm going to try to just shut the computer down, and we'll turn it back on. But I very well may have to take this thing apart again and swap in a different disk drive. Yeah, it's just doing that infinitely. So, I'm going to try the Halo disk once again. We were able to read from it before. Yeah, the Halo disk is in there, it's just infinitely spinning, and you can see disk utility is not detecting a thing. So, yeah, I think the drive, like, just went bad after the installation, and, you know, after we, well, installed Halo on this thing, too, because, you know, that worked out fine. So I think it's time to rip into this thing once more and swap out the disk drive. Oh boy, here we go again. So, in between these two clips, I was actually able to get the disk drive to read from the disks. You know, I tried out all of them again, and it would still do the spinning up and slowing down intermittently. I tried to copy over the upgrade DMG to the hard drive, and, you know, as it was copying, it just kept stopping and freezing, and then it would start up again. And so this drive is definitely still working, but just intermittently. And so we're just going to swap it out, which again is kind of a difficult process. Certainly not as difficult as doing the hard drive. We had to do all of this to get to the hard drive. but now we can just stop at taking out the disk drive. So we're going to pop out the disk drive. There's this one screw we got to remove that is in here. You know, the thing that is really fascinating about this iBook to me is it's kind of like, I don't know, two design philosophies in one. Because on one hand, it's really easy to replace like the RAM and the airport card, but then, you know, swapping out the CD-ROM and the hard drive is like pulling an arm and a leg. Like, I don't know what exactly Apple was like, yeah, we'll make it easy to do these few things, but all these other things that you should still, you know, be able to do relatively easily, we're gonna make those really, really difficult and just super annoying. And I'm actually just gonna leave the audio cable connected because we should just be able to move this over here, out of the way. And now we turn our attention to the disk drive. And there we go. And then we just pop off the cover here, and we'll grab the new one and put it on. You can bet that I am not going to put this thing all the way back together. We're just going to, you know, make sure that, I mean, I know this drive works, but we're gonna, you know, copy the files and everything that we need over to the hard drive before we, you know, put this thing back together properly. And yep, there it is. So we're just going to try to copy over the update DMG. And oh yeah, that is working better already. So yeah, this old drive is getting thrown in the trash. Or at least probably thrown in my parts bin. I might be able to salvage something from it for a future project. And yes, I know that doing all of this is practically pointless because I still do not think Halo is going to run on this computer at all. It does not meet the minimum processor requirements, does not meet the minimum RAM requirements. So this is all basically going to be for nothing, but at least we'll get this updated to the last final version of OS X Jaguar. So yeah, we'll agree and install to Macintosh HT. But this is what we do on this channel sometimes, just waste time to do things that we know aren't going to work anyway. So yeah, we'll let the update run, and I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Well, certainly more than a minute, but hopefully not too long. And we have returned. I have assembled the iBook. It's all put back together, and 10.2.8 has been installed. You see here in About This Mac, we are currently running that version. So, I don't have the Halo disk in the drive currently. I think it might ask us for it when we try to launch Halo, but we're going to hold down P to bypass the processor check. And we need the CD. All right. Okay. We got to enter the product key. I've got that in the jewel case here. We've got that entered. It's pulling up graphics settings, and we are going to make sure to set all of this just to low settings. And there's no way this is actually going to work. And I mean, we are set to a lower resolution, so the window does go off screen here, but down there it says OK, which is selected, so let's just hit enter. An unrecoverable error has occurred and Halo cannot continue. There you go. But we got to the loading screen. That is actually like way farther than I thought. I thought it was just going to crash immediately, which to be fair, it did. It did give us that processor warning, but it's nice that you can bypass it. Let me try to maybe, I don't know, play in a window. I have a feeling it's just going to fail again. Yeah, I mean, this opened in a window last time, so that didn't really change anything. Unless, like, this loading screen's in a window, then it goes in the full screen when you get to the menu. But, yeah, unrecoverable error has occurred and Halo cannot continue. So that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, there was a whole convoluted, just complete waste of time, basically. Though, I'm not going to say it was a waste of time, because we did replace a failing disk drive in here, and we updated this to 10.2.8. And there's also, check this out, we've got some movies here. I think these are just the, like, logos that play at the beginning, but, oh no, they're not, they open up with Halo? Really? That's interesting. I mean, we should be able to open these up with QuickTime. Yeah, that just brings up the game again. Okay, I'm sure it's just gonna, yeah. But, if these are just regular move files, we should just be able to open them with QuickTime. Oh my gosh, I remember this. That's the Bungie splash screen. You can see it is having trouble playing it back at full, at the proper frame rate there. It was playing audio though. So if it struggles to play back like one of the opening videos, there's certainly no way it's going to be able to run the game. Oh, and we've got the ending. Why don't we try to play the ending? There it is. Laggy as ever, but but I can see Guilty Spark there. He's there. It's about all you can say. But that's not all I can say about how easy it is to make your own website with today's video sponsor, Squarespace. Because whether you're wanting to create a portfolio, a personal blog, or an online store, they've got a wide selection of beautifully designed templates to get you started off with a professional looking site. Or you can even make your own with Squarespace's new Blueprint tool. Either way, you'll be able to take advantage of their Fluid engine, which lets you easily drag and drop images, text boxes, and other elements wherever you want to more easily customize your site. And with e-commerce functionality built right in, setting up a storefront for your business is incredibly simple, allowing you to showcase your products in their best light and use email campaigns to get your audience excited about new offerings and promotions. Plus, Squarespace handles domain registration too, so if you're looking to reserve your cool new business name, or if you need full-on website hosting, head on over to squarespace.com/michaelmjd to get 10% off your first purchase. And huge thanks to Squarespace for making this video possible. But yeah, I think that is going to wrap it up for this video that I definitely thought was going to be shorter than it ended up being, but hey, we had some fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, all that good stuff. And if you really enjoyed this video and want to get early access to my future episodes, I do have a Patreon down below, or you can hit that join button to become a channel member. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.